Men not only waste your time, they waste their own time. They are time wasters. They are money wasters. Sometimes I wonder, are you just literally waiting to die? I mean, in addition to men having like a death wish, right? I will go climb Everest. I'm gonna go 100 miles an hour down this highway just for fun. Like, but they like, what are you doing, right? Not only are you bored, but you're boring. That's why I keep talking about this escapism and this. They hoard things. They buy stuff. They collect stuff. They spend money on either drugs and alcohol or OnlyFans or gambling or something that's like a very harmful addiction, especially financially, but harmful to the bodies and everything else. Or they'll literally just be like, I'm a mountain climber, and then you have a whole room full of gear. You have a whole garage full of cars. They never drive. They're never going to fix. They're never going to do anything. They have a whole room full of guitars they never play. Toys they've collected they'll never touch again. They just want to have a bunch of these dumb toys, like literal toys sometimes. Video games, and then they get bored after a month and they got to buy. It is just, they are these shopaholics. They've been telling us that we're the shopaholics, and I'm not saying women don't have spending problems. Obviously, I think in the United States, consumerism is out of control in general. And I didn't realize how bad it was until I left the US, and I was like, oh my God, wow. It is just a part of hyper-consumer, hyper-capitalism, all that stuff. It is reinforced in every level. However, when women have hobbies, they tend to not be nearly as expensive, nearly as time-consuming, nearly as dangerous and selfish, and they usually involve somehow adapting to men and children. What is that? Oh, okay, so whatever. Little bunny, hop hop. I'm going to read you some of the comments of one of the videos I did recently, because I get so many stories from women when I talk about this, because, and again, I went viral a couple summers ago, had to private my account for like over a month because men were harassing me so much. So I don't know why I'm doing this again, because I'm learned my lesson yet, but it hit a nerve. So don't let this go to the wrong side of the internet, okay, please. But when women were talking about this, I couldn't believe the stories and that they've shared in my comments. Just please don't let this get to the men's side of the internet, because that is when they come attack me, and then I have to go away. I always come back, and when I come back, I'm a bigger, badder, meaner bitch, so don't try it with me, guys. Anyway, also Patreon is what pays my bills now, so whatever. You pay to harass me over there. Thank you, Patreon people. Follow me over there if you want to see travel content, blah, 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 lives, watch parties, all that stuff. Thank you, Patreon people. You are keeping the lights on, especially when I'm sick. Anyway, the video that I was talking about references, I ended up somehow on this Facebook page called Gearhead Homes or something, and it's all these homes, and these are, then this is the thing, this is so normalized, like men will openly brag about this. Now if this room was full of like alcohol, actually it'd still be normalized because they would just be brewers, but if this was full of, I don't know, or something, people would be like, wow, you have a problem. Wow, that seems really harmful to yourself, your family, and everyone else. But this seemed like just a man with a hobby. Just a man with no, this is a man who feels dead inside, will not work on his emotional, internal life, doesn't want to deal with his family, his wife, whatever, and has all the entitlement and power from patriarchy, right? So he goes and does all this while she's working and doing everything for the family. And then here's the thing, the loneliness, male crisis, it's not just these incels and young guys. Once men like this, their children are older, they don't want anything to do with them, because while they were being parented by a married single mom, while they're being parented by her, they know that dad is actually honestly, I think it probably hurts their feelings less if you just leave. Just don't be there, because if you're there and actively choose to hang out with all your toys instead of your family, your own children, that hurts, man. I swear to God. And I say this as somebody who, my dad didn't do this, but he was obsessed with football, and I hate football. I will never watch another game for the rest of my life unless I am forced to, with like my hands taped together and fucking tape over my mouth, because I hate it. I hate it. I've watched hundreds of hours of football that I didn't want to watch, because that's the only way I can hang out with dad. Or watch a totally inappropriate movie, R-rated, that I should not have been watching as a child. But that's another story. So a lot of these men who are dying in nursing homes by themselves or just dying at home alone because women are tired of it, their children are tired of it, it is because you chose this or games or whatever it is you were doing, golf, whatever it is that you decided to do, that you did such extreme selfish entitled level of it that they had to add the word widow to the end of that sport. Golf widows, climber widow. There's a widow in every sport that men do because y'all don't know how to do anything without doing it too much. Because of, and I've talked about this, I had struggled with this too, the lack of dealing with your internal world, going on the adventure in here that is about connecting with people and loving people. I know patriarchy taught you to just shut all that off, be dead in here, and just go to work, and then just be the king of your castle. But you're miserable in your castle with all you need toys. Meanwhile, the children are sleeping in bunk beds. This is really a house that had a whole garage. This is a different house. A garage with like race car stuff, literally like a pit thing that you are in under the ground, and the kids are sharing a bed in a room this tiny. And then, cheap, dumb looking bedroom, but kiss me goodnight. I mean, a little woman's touch every once in a while, but I mean, we already whatever. We know the kind of family this is. But reminders of your hobbies that take you away from home all the time, your hobbies that put your family in financial crisis, because gambling, hunting, cars, whatever it is usually selfish. It's a waste of time and it passes endless time and you're not actually doing anything. Maybe you're making something, but a lot of times these hobbies don't even involve creativity. And as somebody pointed out in this video, all these things are blocking all these. How much do you want to bet that these tools are actually never used? It's just consume, collect. Look at me. Look at all this stuff. I'm never happy. I need another. Ewan McGregor, by the way, I did a video on him. He had 20 motorcycles. And then he cheated on the mother of his children. Shock. And then, Hoard launched his new marriage as if we're supposed to support this. Whatever. They will make sure they get the best couches, even though this is ugly to me, that have all kinds of buttons, right? Because they're going to spend all their time, if they're not in the garage, they're going to be in front of a TV. So again, like I said, you might as well be in the garage if you're just watching TV. Bye-bye. See you later. You're in your own world. Might as well be on another planet. Might as well not be here, because you being here and being so consumed with TV hurts more than not being here at all. Just get a divorce, but you won't, because you need women's labor. And you also look bad, unless you find a new wife, and then you'll go start a whole new family and not talk to your kids. Whatever. This is the center of the home. And then the little man cave or man garage or man separate house is the other center. It's ridiculous. They will have garages this big for a tiny house. The house that was attached to this garage is so tiny. And then, there's probably, a few more cars outside. They're not even, probably doesn't even look at these things. But you gotta have something to do other than be with your family. Connect with the people who love you, but you hold at arm's length. And then reminders all over the house of the things you love. This is so common in men's garage. What are you doing with all this? Are you literally doing anything? Some men are actually very handy. And if you're new here, okay, are you happy? But some men are very happy, very useful. They do all kinds of amazing stuff. But most of this is financial abuse, right? Hoarding the wealth, investing it in yourself, not in the family. The women usually invest most of their money back in the family. The men do not. This is what they do with their money. This was the other part of that garage. Right? I've already talked about this in another video. What is this? What is this? Again, this is actually a big house, but look how much bigger these two giant garages with these are not man caves. These are man mansions attached to smaller house. These are man hates wife and kids caves. Who needs this? These people aren't even racetrack drivers. They're gearheads. Look at that. It's a literal pit. Okay? So, just for some perspective, this is all his, and then a family of 5 or something has to share that. This is all his. This is ridiculous. No grass. If the man doesn't have it himself, one of his friends will have it, and they'll all hang out here, and they'll use this whiteboard for dumb, statistics, and they got a TV here too, of course, and then they're never doing anything, but just Meanwhile, she is knitting, or spending money on trying to be pretty so he wants to fork her. But you know what? Now I want to show you some of the actual stories from people, and I've blocked out their names because I don't know if y'all want me, some of y'all may be in literal abusive relationships or were, and I just try to protect people's privacy. I'm a little paranoid, honestly. So it's not, if you want credit and tell us that it was you, please do, but I don't like to share people's usernames unless they're doing something ridiculous and they deserve to be shamed. And even then I do that very, very infrequently. Look at this one. My ex had 13 kayaks and canoes. Y'all, I not so much anymore because I live in a city, but when I was in the outdoor world, believe me, I have seen a lot of garages with a lot of gear. And I know I was never a kayaker, which is kind of weird. A lot of raft guides end up becoming kayakers. I was too terrified of water after seeing people drown. It's really expensive. Kayaking is so expensive. Those boats are so expensive. Rafting was my job, so that was free. I just had to have the life vest, the guide paddle, and a throw rope, and that's about it. Everything else, I was just going to my job. Kayaking though, holy crap! These boats are like, I don't know. If somebody all I know is like years ago I was like, ain't no way, but even now, that's like having 13 like really, really cheap old cars or something, right? It's space, it's money, and also kayaking, again, rock climbing, kayaking, all these outdoor sports are not necessarily inherently dangerous in and of themselves, but it's the men who are doing them that is the danger. This comment right here got me. My ex-husband was going to fix everything. I had to throw away multiple electronics that never got fixed when we split. And then this comment, y'all, look at this. My ex-husband was going to fix everything I had thrown away I had to throw away multiple electronics that never got fixed when we split. Okay, so this brings me to another point. And men being liars or unreliable or whatever you want to call it, they're going to fix all this stuff, one, because they don't want to pay because they're cheap, right? They want to pay for all these bicycles and kayaks, but I don't want to pay to get something fixed that you need to make your life easier, or even something to make their life easier sometimes because it's not fun. But more importantly, they don't want to pay a man to come fix it because that'll make them feel, a little threatened. Right? So their ego, they don't want to be emasculated as if you have the power to do that or another man has the power to do that. By having someone professional fix it, do it done, pay for it, right? Nope, they're going to do it. But they never do. They never do. It's fascinating how many men out there are just like this. Let me know if you know what I'm talking about. They're just and it doesn't mean, what? I put stuff off. People put stuff off, but I'm telling you, there is something, it's like pathological. I'm going to fix this thing. I'm going to check your oil. I'm going to do your oil. And then next thing you know, your car blows up because they never did it. So I'm saying, if you have a man who's unreliable, do it yourself. Pay someone, throw it away. Who cares about their ego? Because you're going to get screwed at some point if you just trust their word. Like, we need to stop just trusting their word. Action is a language, okay? Not promises, not, let me do that. Like, you know what another language is evidence of things not being done. That's a language that says, I don't really care. Look at this one. This makes me so mad. I was putting groceries on credit cards while my husband refused to part with the diesel truck. Huge toy hauler and RZR, I don't know what that is, during the last economic crash, and wonders why we're divorced. And this is what I mean. These are decisions. Men will say a lot with their priorities. And the thing is like, and I say this as somebody who didn't realize that my actions also show where my priorities are. When I started paying attention, just like, for instance, dating. There was guys I never responded to, and then like when I was bored would send a response. I'm like, Melanie, why don't you face the truth? You don't like this person. You don't care. You're not into them. So stop. Sometimes I actually pause and be like, what is my behavior saying right now? Does it match how I feel or what future Melanie wants, right? So I am, the behavior says a lot. But if you've had discussions about this and it is a source of contention and then they still are like, nah, I'm gonna have my truck, you can literally go into debt paying for groceries. I need my truck, make me my truck. That ego is the center of that marriage. His ego. Those marriages are never work out well for women, and they don't work out well for men either, because dude, you are gonna end up alone, and even if she doesn't leave you, she's gonna hate you. My ex is an alcoholic, and we also always had build-it cars and hoarded car parts, taking up space and not allowing any money for anything other than his vices. So I'm telling you, this is financial abuse. Not allowing money for anything but his vices is financial abuse. We need to call it that. I hate this for you. I hope you have other options and that don't have to put up with this forever. Because the level of selfishness, it is visual. This is a visual representation of him only caring about himself and not allowing anything else in the freaking garage. These are not man caves. These are man mansions. My uncle filled the garage with classic tools, etc. My aunt wanted to move closer to the grandkids but couldn't because he didn't want to pack and move his garage stuff. This is what I'm talking about. Men will sabotage your relationships with other people. I want you to start seeing this as financial abuse, and it's the same tools of any other kind of abuse. Isolating you from family. You can't go anywhere. You can't move because what about my stuff? If you are isolated from your grandchildren because his dumb classic cars are filling up the garage, he may not be going, but the lack of regard for you and your wants and your needs, your humanity, your money, the mindset's the same. This one right here, I talk about this all the time. This is even when they have no job. I dated a guy that has 3 storage garages, lives in his car. I started going to certain stores to get groceries so he wouldn't ask me to buy him something. Oh my God, it makes me ill to think of the things I bought him when he would ask me. Hey, you know what? No shame. I've done it. Anyone who's been in a relationship like this, I get why it makes you ill thinking of this is when you think, this is why I say, I don't care about my ex. I literally don't spend any of my time hating him. I don't think about him at all, but forgiving myself for all of that self-abandonment, I'll be working on that the rest of my life. I'm in a good place now, but it crops up God, Melanie. How much you want to bet Steve from Sex and the City has a room full of stuff? Y'all, I'm telling you, men, the hobos are even like this, even when they don't have a job. I also want to point out this one because people are like, why didn't you pick better? He was into climbing when you met him. Look at this. The absolute sad truth of escalating expensive, time-consuming hobbies shook me to my core. It was books, instruments, and gaming before we got married. It eventually escalated to a dozen classic cars torn apart. Oh, God. Not one of them drivable. Oh, no. I cut off, y'all. I don't know what the rest of this comment says, but it keeps going. Also, hiding the purchases. This is important. Not only does it escalate, they hide it. Women are can't figure out where the money is going. I am telling you, they lie about so much, y'all. And I want us to start thinking about this as the same as we do an affair. If they're doing all this, this is, I would say, worse than affair. Because this is your money. This is what feeds you, clothes you, pays for your kids' stuff if you have them. I appreciate this from a family law attorney. Trucks, motorcycles, home gyms, ATVs, tens of collectibles that have no resale value. That's key. They could be investing. They could be, I don't know, they could literally be doing anything with this money, and instead they just buy stuff that immediately loses value. And then it sits in the garage and they don't even use it. That's what's so insulting about it. And they want to keep it all after the divorce. Of course they do. And this one person was like, yeah, and they asked their buddies to hide it until the divorce is final as well. This person says he went on one bike trip after the other when our 3 kids were small, of course, because this is when they take up these hobbies. This is what I'm talking about. That you have a baby and they're like, hey, I think I'm going to start running marathons. Do not fall for that. They are running away from parenting. He said he's more of a teenage dad than a baby dad. But here's the thing. All of the men who say that, and this is a lot of men, what they don't get is that the teenagers won't care about you. If you don't lay down the foundation of being around them, caring for them, loving them from small until they get teenagers, by that time they're teenagers, they don't want to hang out with you. Even teenagers that love you don't want to hang out with you. Do you understand teenagers? My God, the last person a teenager usually wants to hang out with unless they're in a crisis or their parent is like the cool one all their friends like, but even then they're kind of like, oh, I don't like that my friends like my parents so much, is their parent. So really what they're saying is, I can't wait till they're teenagers, so then when they don't want to be around any of us, then that's what I'm going to parent. Y'all, men are smart. Please don't think they're not smart. They know exactly what they're doing when they say that. They know teenagers don't want to hang out with dad. By the time they're teenagers, they're bitter and they hate both parents, even the one who did everything. Men are so smart, y'all. Stop thinking they're dumb. This woman's ex is horrible. He uses his dad as an excuse. The man has money, but rarely let his family take vacations or buy things. But he built a separate garage for all his Corvettes. Oh, I'm talking about separate garages. He got to travel around for his work. But yeah, of course, the kids, the wife, they never get these trips. I swear to God, I bet if they could, most men would sit first class and make their entire family sit in coach. If they could get away with it and not look like a dick. Look at this one. My ex number 2, motorcycle, motor home. Oh my God, that's expensive. RV, camper, hot rod, pews, big truck. Stole a race car, hid it, oh my God, in the garage until it caught. Oh my God, 2 packs of cigarettes a day. I'm so sorry. Garage full of fitness stuff, outdoor stuff, camping stuff. Never went camping. Look at this one. This one makes me mad too. All of them make me mad. When I was married, our budget gave him $300 a month for his hobbies and $100 a month for mine because his were more expensive. Of course they were. What a load of crap. I'm glad I divorced them and can spend my money on whatever I want. Exactly. Like, in what world is it cool for him to get $300 a month and you to get $100 a month just because his hobbies are more expensive? That means he has to budget and not buy 100. Like, oh my God. I'm telling you, they purposely pick the most expensive hobbies to financially abuse you. They may not have the conscious thought, I'm going to do this so that I can financially abuse her. That thought may never cross their mind. It probably doesn't. But the entitlement, the not caring, and the feeling like they deserve more than you, that is all over their brain. And so they're like, how do I get the biggest piece of pie? Expensive hobby. And then we can budget for it. I think I need to make a whole video about this comment. I love this. This is selfishness, and honestly, it is at the expense of the forced selflessness of their partner and family. For girls, being selfish or self-centered is taught to be bad, but for boys, being selfless towards their family makes them stupid and a simp. So men never learn to compromise and sacrifice for the well-being of your family. Then they wonder why women choose to not have or continue to have families with these kind of men. Exactly. I love that. The forced selflessness. Society's already done this to us, right? We've been all indoctrinated under this brainwashing of patriarchy to, be selfless. But then they force it on us, passively or aggressively, but they just push. It is like this, it's happening. And if you're not like right back, y'all, I could go on and on. There's so many comments in that video that were so good. I just wanted to show you some. Let me know if you want another part, because I have so many examples of this. I am telling you, even some of the nicest, kindest, most progressive men are going to do this a little bit, if not a lot, if you don't keep them in check. Because most of them are just, they're not taught to think, how does every single decision I make affect all these people? They are not taught to think that way. They know how to think that way when it comes to men, maybe, or other people. But they are not taught that way to think that way when it comes to people they think they are above. Children, women especially, whatever group they are above, right? And this is not just for men, okay? This is if you are the group with the power and the resources and money, even if you don't have a lot yourself, but you're part of a collective that has it, this mindset, it's in you, right? And it's our job to unlearn it, and it's men's job to constantly, every day, throughout the day, being like, am I exploiting someone right now? Am I exploiting a woman in my life right now? My sister, my mom, my wife, my girlfriend, my daughter, my work wife. I can do a whole video on that. If they are not staying on top of their own entitlement on a regular basis, they are exploiting someone. They are. It is built into marriage. It is built into the patriarchy and the family structure. It's built into workspaces. It's built into everywhere I go. God, yesterday, one last little thing. Walking home from my test. Thank y'all for asking. This has been a really rough week. But yeah, I took my French test for nationality. I'm going to take it again. Another one, just in case I failed that one because I don't feel great about it. Walking, I just took a walk. And I was in the area where there's lots of stores. Do you know how many men approached me and wanted me to sign some dumb thing or do some sort of survey? And I knew as I was walking, I was like, oh, they're going to come up to me because I'm a woman and I'm by myself. And they know that I've been conditioned to give them my time, to smile, to be pleasant, and that I have not been conditioned to be like, no. They targeted me. There are all these people around me, but they targeted me because I'm more vulnerable, because I'm by myself, and it's going to take a lot of work on my part to not cater to them like I've been taught to do my whole life. I was like, even if they're doing something cool, I refuse to stop and talk. I am so tired of being targeted by men or people. I'm sure in training, they're like, approach the women. When people when men are begging for money, who do they approach? Women. And they're not going to ask men. They're going to approach you. Don't give them your money unless they have a real good reason, right? That money that you give, the time you give endlessly to men because they expect it. Start giving it to women. Start giving it to people who do not have all this power, especially that cishet, white, able-bodied men have. Stop giving them stuff. They have a whole system working in their favor, and there's all these people suffering, and for some reason, they still expect me to give it to them. And my brain is like, I owe them something. I owe them my body, my time, my emotional labor, all this stuff. No, I don't. And I certainly don't owe them a whole garage full of stuff so they can waste more time, pass more time, waste more money, and avoid their families, their partners, and most importantly, themselves. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's really about. They'll do anything but go here. And the world's burning because of it. Anyway, let me know what y'all think. Please join please join my Patreon. Y'all, I'm not doing well. I've had to take so many breaks to drink water because my throat's not great. Oh, but I'm doing better than I was the last few days. Join my Patreon if you can. I'm going to go home in less than a month. We're going to be there for a month. A French man visiting the South. And all these places in the United States. It's going to be pretty funny. So I'll be sharing a lot of that over on Patreon. I've got a watch party coming up Sunday. I've got a live coming up that I can't wait to announce that's coming up in like a week or so. Lots of stuff going over there. Thank you, Patreon people. You're why I am able to do this and take days off to recover when I'm not doing okay. So thank you. And like, comment, share, follow, hit the notification button, subscribe button. All of y'all who watch this all the way through, thank you. That helps me. And let me know if you heard the comment sound. Right, Mouse? Oh, sorry. No, you didn't even hear that. Mural art, comment song. Look at the mural art. That's a building with scenes painted on it. Look at that scene. Look how real it is. I love this so much. Even a dog, ruff, ruff, dog painted. Look at that cute dog. Excuse me. Books all over the building. Look at that detail. I love it. Then the postman pushing his little cart right next to an actual posting box, whatever. Mailbox. And look at that. She's got a bun. Look at that man. He's not real. He's actually painted there. This is Leon and our little Eiffel Tower next to the church. This is Leon and my comet song is ending now. Actually, not yet, because guess what? I saw this on my bike ride. Also, look at this. And she's like, bitch, get off your phone. Thanks for listening. My voice is dying. Bye. Join my Patreon.